Hello and welcome to Capital Online TV. I'm your host, Yunia Amunga. The Ministry of Health has closed Valencia and Jacaranda hotels following cholera concerns. Health Cabinet Secretary Cleopa Mailu says the hotels will only be reopened once they comply with new food handling requirements. Mailu was speaking after visiting patients at the Kenyatta National Hospital, where more than 100 have been treated so far. At least 3 people have died of cholera since May, while 67 others remain hospitalized. Mailu has formed an intergovernmental task force to handle the pandemic and has put water vendors on notice to ensure they comply with new hygienic requirements.
So far, 381 patients have been seen, not recently, since May, since April, towards the end of April. At the moment, Kenyatta National Hospital has 101 patients, 67 of whom are here and have been confirmed to have cholera. And of course, we won't go into the details of what type of cholera because it seems is one strain of cholera which is affecting all these patients.
A Matata crew and pump attendant have been sentenced to death for violently robbing and sexually assaulting a female passenger. The 44 Matatu driver, conductor and fuel pump attendant at Millennium Petrol Station was sentenced to death by Nairobi Chief Magistrate Francis Andai after he found them guilty. The magistrate described the offence committed 3 years ago as heinous. Newly admitted advocates of the High Court have been urged to discharge their duties with integrity and follow the rule of law. While presiding over the ceremony of the 102 lawyers of the Supreme Court, Chief Justice David Maraga appealed to the advocates to maintain high standards of integrity as they begin their career.
But I'll be failing in my duty as the Chief Justice if I did not point out that the essence of this ceremony is not just about the splendor of wearing gowns and wigs that you adorn so startlingly today. The true meaning of this ceremony is that you have taken an oath by which you have, among other things, affirmed your commitment to the advancement of the cause of justice. This oath obliges you to protect and preserve the rule of law.
Maraga challenged the advocates to be professional and not to despair when things get tough.
It is important for you to appreciate that this is not a promise to ensure your client's will prevails at all times. Indeed, that is what you will be striving to do. But what is more important than your client's will is indeed your first obligation to ensure that the rule of law always prevails.
President Uhuru Kenyatta has commissioned the construction of the 6 billion Mombasa-Mariakani highway on his final leg tour of the coastal region. Speaking to residents in Mariakani, the head of state said the 11.3-kilometer road is aimed at reducing congestion in the area. He stated that such projects are part of the Jubilee government's goal to improve the lives of Kenyans.
Wenzangu wa Taveta, mwaka wa 2013, si tulisimama hapa na mimi nikatoa ahadi ya kwamba mkituchagua kama wana Jubilee, kuna mambo mawili tutafanya. Ya kwanza ilikuwa ya kwamba barabara hii kutoka Voi mpaka Holili tutaitandika lami. Si ni kweli? Ahadi tumetimiza, hatujatimiza? Tumetimiza. Na hiyo lami itawekwa mpaka izungushwe hapa town, na mimi nina haki ya kwamba sasa kwa sababu ya barabara hiyo, safari ile ilikuwa ya masaa 6-7 imekuwa sasa safari ya saa 1. Si ni kweli? Kumaanisha ya kwamba magari mengi pia ambayo yatakuwa yanaenda Tanzania, pande ya Arusha mpaka Burundi yatakuwa yakipitia hapa. Si ni kweli? Si hiyo ni biashara ya mji wenu wa Taveta? Si hiyo ni kazi kwa vijana wetu? Jamani, tumetimiza, hatujatimiza?
Deputy President Ruto at the same time hit out at the opposition for alleging that Interior Cabinet Secretary Fred Matiang'i was involved in a plan to rig the elections.
We are telling our competitors, it is not Matiang'i to make up his mind. it is them that should make up their minds. Either they want to be officials of this election or they want to be candidates in this election. And they need to make up their mind whether they want to participate in this election of 2017 or they can as well participate in the one of 2022.
NASA leader Raila Odinga, on the other hand, was campaigning in Samburu, where he was touring Morak and Maralal, while his deputy Kalonzo Musyoka headed to Baragoi. A Kenyan startup tech has unveiled an ambulance hailing app that connects users to the nearest available ambulance using an Android or USSD code. GoGo Cabs is currently working with St. John's Ambulance to take casualties to hospitals, with plans underway to include more emergency healthcare service providers. The chief executive of GoGo Cabs, John Bessia, says this first-of-its-kind service in East Africa came as a result of the linkage gaps between clients and ambulances.
Currently, we have partnered with St. John's Ambulance. I believe it's a common ambulance company in Kenya. And what they do, they offer their ambulances. They have about 12 ambulances in Kenya. And we use our technology to integrate with their control center. So for the first time in Kenya, and for the first time in Africa, you and I are able to go to an app, click on it, and access the nearest ambulance and be taken to the hospital where we're insured, or where we prefer, or where the person who is helping us get to an emergency would take us.
GoGo Cabs is taking the transport sharing model further by providing tow tags, flatbeds, and a designated driver option for users through its Android app, Pick Me Up.
So what that service does basically, you're able to request for a driver, and I'm able to go through the app, request for a driver. I get the preferred, I get the face of the driver, I get the experience of the driver. I also get the driver that is safe, or rather the driver that has already had a background check. And I'm able to call that driver, who is able to come, drive my car, take me to wherever I want to, and drop me there, and the driver goes about his business, I go about my business. If I want to go back to where I came from, then I call the one who is nearest to me. If I prefer the same driver, then I go to the same app and request the same driver.
The startup has also signed up 237 regular cabs in the last 1.5 months to further add to the number of the ride-sharing apps that includes Uber, Taxify, and Little Cabs. For more on these and other stories, log on to www.capitalfm.co.ke. I have been your host, Yunia Amunga.